Are you ready? Are you ready for what's sure to be the biggest St. Patrick's Day of all time? All right, I don't know if that's true, but it's going to be a big one for sure. And it needs to be protected at all costs because it's the last offensive holiday. And you're thinking, it's not offensive. Well, I know. I agree with you. But that's why we need to protect it, because it's fantastic. And it really is. All the consumer indexes and all the news reports are saying on the business channels, it is expected to be a big one, and it's not till Monday. I get that, whatever. But really, the weekend attached to St. Patty's Day is happening like basically right now on a Friday. So we're going to talk a lot about that. By the way, I walked by a pub yesterday called Finnegan's Wake. What do you think that place is going to look like this weekend? It's going to be I hope I can get in there. It's a blast. Still in New York. Thanks for finding me. Wicked Radio. Welcome to Friday. We're going to talk about that, but also some stuff in the news. You're seeing all these protests in the news these days. Hamas was in Trump Tower, not too far from me right now in New York City. Hamas made it okay, I get it. Pro-Palestine supporters, that Mahmoud Khalid guy, that's what it was all about. But they're saying the same thing. They're pro-Hamas, exactly what it is. I'm going to tell you why this is not the big deal that you're being told that it is by all the news reports. They're burning out. And you're going to hear a quote from the police chief of New York and how they dealt with this and how quickly they dealt with this. That's what's really going on, how it's being presented and promoted. Nothing of this is organic. There's nothing even to really worry about, I don't think. And there's a telltale sign you can tell when this thing is not organic whatsoever, and it's all designed. But the important part is it's funded by somebody. And then I got a story to wrap up today with that will send you into the weekend just feeling so satisfied, and a feel-good story about justice. Remember the Baton girl we were talking about a couple of days ago? That Virginia runner who cracked the other runner over the head with a baton? Usually these stories wind up like they get away with it. Nothing really happens. Oh, no. Oh, no. Last night we got the news. Baton girl left around. Baton girl found out. We'll update you on that as well. But in the meantime, let's get rid of some business. Actually, find a Wicked Radio live on the road this time. But as always, the audio podcast took a little bit longer to post yesterday. It was a little past 9 a.m. Eastern time. But it's always there, wherever you like to get your podcast. And then we're live here for the live stream. And all over the social media stuff, too, with clips from the show. So we've got that as well on X, mainly right here, and then on Facebook and on YouTube, and all that great stuff. But in the meantime, let's talk about what's really important. Let's talk about what's really going on. It's never too early to prep for St. Patrick's Day. I get it. It's not till Monday. I understand that. Whatever. But there's always a weekend attached to St. Patrick's Day, which happens to be the weekend, this time around, heading into Monday. Now that the actual day is coming after a weekend, what do you think the productivity is going to be like throughout America, corporate America on Monday? Probably not going to be strong. Probably not. And everybody is saying, I was watching, I think it might have been Fox Business yesterday, and I was reading it too on the Daily Mail of all things, saying that for whatever reason it is, consumer confidence maybe going up, now that inflation's going down. That was another big story this week, by the way. And maybe it's because egg prices are finally going down. Whatever. More people than ever are expected to spend a lot of money this particular weekend on St. Patrick's Day related activities. My little prep sheet has some numbers for you here. It says 76% of us are going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, the other 24%, they're lying. 48% are going to wear green. Okay, whatever. That's kind of goofy. 28% are going to hit the bars. 26% will eat Irish food. Oh, I never really got that one. You know what I mean? It's like not a culture, and I can say this because I have a lot of Irish. Not a culture known for its food and its cuisine. I'll just say that much. By the way, I'm the only person with a lot of Irish heritage who just does not like corned beef and cabbage. It's because of the cabbage. I can't stand it. My mother would make it all the time. It's not me. Corned beef, I'm cool with. That's great. Go to a deli, get some corned beef. Cabbage, not me. 23% are going to have a boozy beverage. Yeah, again, this is one of those things where it's a lot more than that. But regardless, it's a great American holiday. It's a great, well, I know it's a worldwide holiday, but an American culture, American Irish culture. This is why I say it's the last offensive holiday. It's not offensive. I know. I agree. But it's called offensive. Just hear me out. What other culture in American society would put up with this? And they have no problem whatsoever with it. The main character involved in all the marketing is a little tiny little person a leprechaun. You try to chase him around and steal his gold, right? The main activity is based around drinking and all the Irish lore, pretty much called drunks throughout society. Fair reputation. I'll give you that. A lot of fighting, right? You see all the videos that we'll see Monday and Tuesday and all next week about all the stuff going on the St. Patrick's Day parade in Boston, New York, Chicago, and all over the place. Fair enough. This is why that needs to be protected in exactly how we celebrate it, because nobody gets offended by it. Nobody. I don't think there's any other cultures, whether it's Italian or maybe some Arab American culture or somebody else, Indian, that would really put up with what the Irish put up with and how this whole thing is portrayed. But we don't mind, and it's great. And it's great that everybody can pretend to be Irish for at least one weekend or a day. We need to protect St. Patrick's Day, so be careful. Oh, I have a rare health tip for you, too. Now, I come from a drinking family, so I'm going to throw this in there. If ever you're at a bar, and this would be going into like Tuesday or Wednesday, I'd say, after St. Patrick's Day next week. If you're at a bar and you get a draft beer, and it still has a hint of green in it, you know, because some bars, like the cheesy ones, will put like the green dye, and which is stupid, in their taps. If that's still going on into Tuesday and Wednesday, God forbid, like Thursday of next week, immediately return the beer. Do not drink it, because it means they don't clean their taps. It's happened to me. That's my one health tip for you going into St. Patrick's Day. But just be safe as always. But enjoy it. It's a great time. It's an awesome time. All right, let's get to some stuff you saw in the news. How about this? Oh, no. Oh, you saw this all over. Well, if you watch CNN, I don't know why you do, or MSNBC, or the mainstreams, NBC and CBS, and even Fox, it made a big deal. It made a big deal about the protest at Trump Tower yesterday. Not too far from where I am right now. Didn't see any of it. I'm glad my girls didn't want to go to Tiffany yesterday, because that's right next door to it. Pro-Palestine protesters took over, occupied Trump Tower in the lobby yesterday. And this thing was promoted throughout the news channels like it was the biggest thing that's ever happened. And they're up and down doing interviews after the fact, even after the arrests, and saying that we've made it, we've done it. I am here to tell you, this was... First of all, you can tell when a so-called protest is not organic whatsoever, and it really means nothing, when they're all wearing matching T-shirts, and they all have pre-printed signs, by the way, pre-printed, like held up on placards, ready to go. Not the handwritten ones you see at normal protests or peaceful ones. No, pre-printed. They also had banners, and it was organized, and here's the other thing, funded by somebody. Do we know who? No, we don't. Not quite yet. They'll get to the bottom of that someday. This thing is, first of all, they're going to burn out, because we're only, a little over 50 days into the Trump administration, and you've seen all of these protests popping up everywhere, and they're all claiming victory, and they've made such an impact in society, and we need to collect. And this thing was mainly, they say, about protecting Mahmoud Khalil. We talked about him yesterday. He's the Syrian guy who ICE is trying to deport, because he's the organizer of all the anti-Israel protests on American college campuses, mainly based around Columbia University. But he was the organizer of it. And by the way, why would you want to deport this guy? Well, because he's also published on social media journals and written articles about why we need to, this is the quote, end Western civilization. That's about 4 or 5 points right there, and justifying why you might want to get somebody out of your country. But regardless, that was the excuse why the pro-Hamas, because they were, this is just a veiled thing, protesters made it inside Trump Tower yesterday. Didn't last too long, I'll give you that. You want to get a good sense for why this is not a big deal, and why really, despite the fact that this makes all of the news channels, why they try to push this on you to try to create more fear in society, it has next to no impact. For that, let's go to the NYPD. This actually was on Fox yesterday. After they cleared all of this up, listen to the cop. I love his response on this, on how they explained how this isn't a big deal, and how he's not going to give any credit to the organized group. He's seen them before, and it took, I think, what does he say, a couple of hours before they removed everybody from Trump Tower, processed them, and got them on their way. I love this guy. This is Chief John Schell, as he's talking to Fox News yesterday. If he's not concerned about it, I don't think we should be.
We're well versed in this group. I don't want to give them any advertisement. We've dealt with them before. We know what their MO is, if you will. And again, I just can't stress enough that in 2 hours we got this cleared up.
I love this guy. He's like, yeah, I don't want to, it's no big deal. I think it was Martha McCallum. I think she was the anchor at the time asking the questions. And she's just doing her job, and she's asking the question, well, do you know who it is? Are they funded and whatever? And she tried that a few times, and every time Chief Shell goes, yeah, we know who they are. I'm not going to give them any publicity, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. And, a couple of hours, we cleared the whole thing up, and it was back to business as usual at Trump Tower. That's the real story. That's why that guy's so great. It's not organic. It's based on nothing. They're just performative theater kids who in the middle of was this Thursday afternoon yesterday at Trump Tower, had nothing else better to do. And now we pretty much know. I think we pretty much know who's funding this kind of stuff and where it's coming from, because it's actually publicized online. And they are all paid. They are paid protesters. Again, with the matching red shirts and the pre-printed signs. That's when you know this is nothingness. Based on nothing. They have more protests too, though. By the way, this has popped up a lot more. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what the platform is for all the protesters. So they've got these folks who, under the guise of trying to keep this Mahmoud Khalil in the country yesterday, and they claim that they're pro-Palestine, they're anti-Israel, they're pro-Hamas. That's the veiled meaning behind this whole thing. And don't forget, included in all this and all these protests, they're still pushing the Just Stop Oil thing. First of all, you got to pick a cause. What exactly do you stand for? What is it? And the Just Stop Oil people, they're still around. They're still vandalizing. This one was in London yesterday. Did you see this one? It was a Tesla something or other. I guess it was a dealership. I don't know. But in the lobby of the Tesla place, they have one of those big robotic robots, basically is what it is, that Tesla is also working on. Listen to these folks. Listen to the cluelessness in this one. This is London yesterday afternoon, as two Just Stop Oil protesters with printed on their T-shirts walked in freely, by the way. That's the thing I don't understand. They walked into the Tesla place and they poured, I wanted to get this right, liquid latex over the robot, causing thousands of dollars in damage. Maybe they destroyed it. I don't know. The amazing thing is, how do they walk in freely, do this, and then they have time to stick around, and there's a camera in their face where they explain what they're doing? This is London yesterday. Here's the Just Stop Oil folks. Let's get a load of them.
From fossil fuel companies and from power-hungry billionaires. I will not stand by and let the climate crisis cause global food destruction.
Okay. Just Stop Oil. So that's apparently what these two vandals were all about in London yesterday. So you protest and you cause damage to the property of Tesla, which is run by the guy that's made more electric vehicles, which I thought you were in favor of. He's made more of those than anybody else in the world. This is the cluelessness you're dealing with. And this is why, honestly, despite the fact that they always make the news, that they always get a lot of publicity and attention, it's based on nothing. There's nothing to it here. And I truly feel, now that all this stuff is kicked up and everybody loves to cover it, stick a camera in their face, we're 50, is it 52? How many days are we into the Trump administration? 50, it's over 50, right? They're already starting to burn out. There's nothing, pretty soon, unless God forbid they do something really extraordinarily stupid, and let's hope they don't, they're going to burn out, and the cause is already getting ignored by people because it's based on nothing. Because nobody who actually wants to hear them out understands what they're for, right? Like the far left loonies, let's try to figure out the platform. Now all of a sudden, these are opposed to the libs of the 60s, the actual peaceful protests, civil disobedience, which that's part of American culture. I understand that. These folks, all of them combined, like the people at Trump Tower yesterday. Okay, so you're pro-war, you're anti-electric vehicle now, you're pro-censorship. What are you? This is why normal people like you and me just don't pay attention to them anymore. All of this stuff is just nothingness. Just ignore it, because it's basically having zero impact whatsoever. But the people in England, though, I don't understand this at all. I don't think it would happen here. How do they walk in so freely and cause destruction? I don't know, why. I'm not advocating violence, but why aren't they tackled? Why do they still have enough time to actually do a little mini interview after the fact, after doing that much damage? Why does that? Maybe that's a European thing. I don't know. Who knows? Who the heck knows? But my point is, don't even worry about that stuff, even though it was all over the news yesterday. This was in the news as well. That's right. We talked about it too. But it's great news now and a great update. So we all know Baton Girl, right? Huge viral sensation now because she's such an idiot. But she's called Baton Girl. We're talking about Layla Everett, the Virginia runner. I know you know what we're talking about. We talked about it too. We've all seen the video of her running at the competition last weekend. And she had the baton, so it was a relay race. And the runner to her right, a little ahead of her, she cracks her over the head. And I don't mean to laugh, but the poor girl who got cracked in the head stumbles, trips, falls into the infield, and she got a concussion. Well, as we all know, immediately, the day after that happened, Monday, this girl, Layla, the baton attacker, goes before, there it is again, another camera, and explains that I'm the victim here. Well, I know that you're hurt, but it's really all about me. Just for a little refresher, here she is.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind.
A couple of things from that too that I'm still, it's been like days, I'm still laughing at that. My mental rights, you don't understand. And as many times as I've seen and heard that clip, the chirp you heard there, that's not me, that's her. It's like wherever she did that from her house, like the battery was running out in her in the fire alarm. Everybody's laughing at that. All right, so there she is, and she does that. And she goes on to say further on in the explanation video that, well, that's not what it was. You're only going by one angle. What happened was the baton got caught in her shirt, and I was lifting it up, and it hurt her in the head. It's only one angle. Oh, see, there's a problem here because more angles. She didn't know this at the time. More angles came out, and they showed clear as day that she cracked her over the head. Now, I said at the time, and I'll stick by this because I always go to like the parental aspect of this thing. Because I'm a dad of two girls. They weren't sports kids. I have like theater kids. So trust me, that's a different world. But if something like this had happened to one of my daughters, my first reaction, I would have been mad like everybody else, obviously. And then you care for your kid, right? Any parent would. But then you're like starting to think, I played sports, I get it. You know, it's heat of the moment, things like that. Fights on a court or a field or stuff like that happens, right? Until... This is where I would have turned it around. Until she did that interview and explained that she's really the victim. That's when, as a dad, I would have been, oh, hell no. Oh, of course we're filing charges. So to make you feel good going into the weekend, for a little bit of justice, because maybe this story's been on your mind, maybe you're just hearing about it now. Well, Virginia authorities have now charged Layla, Baton Girl, with assault and battery. And I know, I get it. It's only a misdemeanor charge. So what? Doesn't it feel good that somebody that takes zero responsibility is going to pay at least some kind of a price on this? Just for a little bit. I don't want her life ruined. You know what I really want, honestly? And I speak as a dad again. I want this girl to have a chance to learn personal responsibility. That's what I want. Because trust me, nobody in her life has taught her that. Not her parents, not her teammates, not her coach, maybe she has an agent already. I don't know. But no, somebody got to that girl and they told her to do a video, an interview immediately the day after this incident happened. And you get ahead of the story, you know, because we're all versed with social media skills now. You get ahead of the story and you explain that you're really the victim. Oops, till that second video came out and now she's facing charges. Good job, parents of the other girl, and good job, Virginia. I don't want her life ruined. I just want her to take this as a life lesson. I really do. But it's weird that that's a feel-good story, but it is for me. I don't know. Maybe that says a lot about me. It's St. Patty's Day. Okay, not till Monday. I get it. Whatever. Starting from right now, Friday, into the weekend, to Monday, the actual day, I'm calling this St. Patty's Day. So you probably are too. Just whatever you do, be safe. Watch out for that green beer into next week. It means they didn't clean their taps. And just have a great time and enjoy it as the last offensive holiday we can enjoy. And we need to protect it, right? Exactly. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great, safe weekend. Who the heck knows what maniacs, what loony crazies are going to be in the news over the weekend? There'll be some, and we'll talk about them on Monday. And in the meantime, don't forget about the audio podcast. That'll be wherever you find Wicked Radio, whatever your favorite platform is. Posts usually is a little bit different because I'm on the road. The internet hasn't been too good. Usually about 9 a.m. Eastern time. I'll start to post that right away as soon as we wrap up here. And then live stream on the replay every single day right here on X and YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff. So luck of the Irish to you. Have fun. Be safe. Enjoy. And most importantly, don't get into any Irish fights, but also don't take any crap from anybody. We'll talk to you later.